Ladies and gentlemen, Donk. Donk. Donk, 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 donk. Perfect name, right, for this? This is just great. Bro, everybody just wants to know if it's a safe time to get excited, right? That's what we're trying to figure out. Is it okay to freak out? Is it okay to tell everybody that this is the craziest thing that's ever happened in esports and Counter-Strike history and any individual performance? Look at this Rob's tweet. Look at this Donk tweet. Look at this. All of these people in unison watching Donk spawn into grand finals maps with 15 kills. We were all thinking the same thing. Look at this Dupree tweet. This is the craziest thing I've ever seen in terms of a consistent performance across an event. All right, people are trying to compare Katowice to New York, ESL New York, because Nico had the best performance there. 1.70 rating on LAN. They won the event 3-0 in the finals over 7 maps, okay? 7 maps in total. Donk, this is 16 teams that were playing at Katowice. Donk in the play-in stage, which is like a whole ass event in and of itself, started the play-in out with a 2.24 rating over Apex, a 13-0 start to the event. That in and of itself is already amazing for someone like Donk, who everybody was doubting whether or not he would be able to hold it together at a big event. Okay, this is his first big event in history. And ayo, before we keep glazing Donk, I just wanted to let you know that ACEZONE's still the best headphones on the market. No one beats ACEZONE, baby. I just did Launders LAN 1, and I brought 2 pairs of headphones to lend out to people just so they could try it. Look what I saw.
Everything. Noise cancellation is perfect. You hear every single step like you're at home. It's crazy. I'm in LAN. People screaming everywhere. I barely fucking hear them. This is perfect.
And one last thing, okay, in case you have ACEZONE headphones already, but you don't have BOXR merchandise, BOXRmovement.club on the store. We just released a new shirt, Good Luck Climber, okay? It's a shout out to Blastova with the Nature Block world record time, if you didn't notice the reference. So we're still going so hard on the BOXR Movement Club, and we got lots of cool shit coming soon. Movement servers, training maps, lots of cool shit in the works. All right, I don't want to spoil too much. Back to the video. I was just in Dubai casting Donk. So not only did I know that this was coming, because not many people watch BetBoom DONKA 2023, but I got to watch that whole thing, and we cast that grand final where Donk got better every single round into overtime versus Virtus Pro. Even if you took down Vitality, FAZE, G2, Navi all in one tournament run, if you had to play against Virtus Pro, it wouldn't be a surprise if you suddenly just started playing badly, right? Donk has played and won against Virtus Pro in 2 LAN finals back-to-back. And when he came to BetBoom DONKA, CS2 Grand Finals, best of 5, Donk reverse swept Virtus Pro. They started 0-2 down, and Donk reverse swept Virtus Pro. Guess who is the MVP of the event? Donk. Guess who had 89 kills in the Grand Finals? Donk. Guess who had a 133 rating on map 5 at midnight? Donk. So when we talk about Nico's 7 map run at ESL New York, there has to be some reverence for it. I mean, I'm not here trying to be a hipster. I'm not buying an Android because I can afford an iPhone, but I just don't want to be associated with people who have them. I'm not trying to be that guy right now. What I'm trying to say is that 12 maps to 7, it's not even close to keep the same average rating, a 1.70. Now, there is a thing where in CS2, it feels like the ratings are more parabolic, okay? The Scoopster on Twitter did an analysis that showed that the rating inflation really hasn't gone up that much. There's nothing different about CS2. Don't believe your eyes, okay? Whatever you see against CS2, Fugazi, okay? It's all numbers that are lying to your face. When you see people having higher ratings than CS2, it's a lie. I don't give a shit what math guy says. That's bullshit, all right? This is my theory, that there's less rounds in the maps, yeah? So it's more parabolic because if you have a bad day, then you have less time to recover in a map. So you're gonna have a worse rating. Obviously, on a bad day, you're seeing lots of career worst performances because you have less time to recover in a map if you're having a bad day. Conversely, if you're having a great day, you're having a super inflated scoreline because you finished the map faster and were, caught heat really quickly. So it's more intangibles. It doesn't really have to do with math. It doesn't really add up when you think about the fact that in terms of pure rounds, when you compare how many rounds they're playing, fuck MR12, Donk across rounds is outmatching everybody, all of the competition in terms of debuts, in terms of big event ratings that we've ever seen. So not only is this the most insane individual performance for a Counter-Strike player in 20 years in history, but it's also a debut, okay? Over the course of a couple seasons, I casted Donk playing in the WePlay Academy League, and I got to see a lot of stories, right? I knew that Bit was next up. I gave Monacy his nickname. He put that in his sticker, the Flash. But you know what? Anybody who watched the Academy League knew that he was the #1 player in the league. Bit was the second best player for some time. That was also something that people knew was going to work out. Bit going to Na'Vi. Yeah, at first it was a little bumpy. It's going to work out in the end. He's that good. Yeah, that's true. Torji, same thing. All of Mao's NXT. Shuhei making the grand finals of the Paris Major coming to the Academy League. Now we think about names who came out of the WePlay Academy League who didn't work out. Let's say NPL. They were pretty excited about the prospect of watching NPL play on Na'Vi, right? He's going to come through. He's going to be amazing. And then what happens? He bombs out. He's a terrible anchor. He's not good enough. Okay, sorry. I don't mean to disparage the kid. He's still a kid. And a lot of these WePlay kids are just kids. And not every story was going to work out. There's a lot of pressure and big shoes to fill going to Na'Vi. But NPL does not work out. NPL is where Donk was at. Almost. Donk in his last season was like a top 5 player in the Academy League. But Donk was never even like gym fat coming out of Mao's NXT. He was like the simple of his season almost in the Academy League. All of this is to say that Donk was like a very good player who got very good near the end, but he was not the same level of hype and prospect as Monacy. So what is it about Donk that makes him so good? Obviously, for those who just like decided to tune in for the grand finals, Kato, and yeah, shout out to the watch party we just did because it was pretty surreal to watch this with other people. Like it felt like we were at the LAN itself, at Off-World Bar in Toronto, by the way. We're going to do this again for Cologne, so make sure you come to that, all right? We're running these events all the time. Check out the Twitter. Watching Donk spawn into the grand final every single map, like instantly with like 15 kills within 4 or 5 rounds. No joke. Every single time. It was pretty goddamn surreal, right? And you saw that, you know, when this frozen smoke spam happened in mid on overpass, it was to the point that people on Twitter are literally like, Flamesy goes, cheating, I think, hopefully, obviously, as a joke. But it's getting to the point where you're like, It's cheating, right? Like, it's surreal, bro. I'll tell you this right now. I followed the pro scene and documented it through YouTube videos and analyzed stats and watched games and casted for, like, officially since 2013. I watched CS and stuff loosely for, you know, for the last 20 years. But throughout the entirety of CSGO, where I've been watching closely, I've never seen anything like this. It's just like, you're amazed. You're like amazed. You're like wow, whoa, what a map. What a map. 13-0 versus Apex. Wow, that's incredible. This kid's got a future. Into, wow, Mongols, 2.06 rating, back to back. This is crazy. He's having such a great day. I mean, this is just awesome to watch. Donk, like, so funny, isn't it? Our new GOAT, his name is Donk. This is so cute. Just love saying Donk, 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 Donk. Wow, this Team Spirit, they're going to make a run here. This is going to be the dark horse. Like, we might see them make playoffs. Like, this is pretty exciting. Into, Donk has more multi-kills than he has single frag rounds. Into, Donk ends Katowice as the MVP of the entire event before the grand finals even begins, where he has 79 kills that are multi-kill rounds, okay? 72 rounds, he only has 1 kill. He ends the entire event with more multi-kill rounds than single kill rounds. Now, again, we talk about New York and we look at that Nico and Rain. Rain had a 1.61 rating. Nico had a 1.70 rating. This was FAZE on fire and Nico and his absolute peak. But this is over 7 maps. Donk does this over 12 maps. And not just 12 maps, over weeks. 2 things that could have taken him down. One was he got handed out a warning by ESL, said, Donk, listen, it's cute when you're talking smack to the other competitors, but try not to call them dumb fucks. Try not to like get personal with the actual insult. So, but he's 17 years old, man. Like, I would have been saying some wild shit. I think people started to turn on him a little bit when they were like, oh, okay, can this kid shut up? Every single round he's yelling something, no matter what happens. But then you look at the maps, if he's just yelling every time they're celebrating a round win or he gets a multi-kill, well, yeah, he's celebrating most of the time because he literally was winning almost every single round and getting a multi-kill almost every single round. So when that came through, you could see that actually he changed up a little bit, right? Sometimes he would like look through the glass after a round win and just like fucking bare his fangs. But he didn't. He just didn't yell. He just like stopped. He like cooled off. Okay. Now mentally that can rock you a little bit. I mean, this kid is still 17, right? He's a prodigy. He's like amazing, but it is his first time at an event like this. It's a lot of stimulation. It's a lot of like that kind of thing can rock you. First of all, he's also not an English speaker, right? So he must have been at least a little bit shocked that ESL were like, wait, what are you saying? Like, this is like the average shit talk in Russia, right? That he's saying, and he's getting the hammer dropped on him for the way that he's talking. So that's the first thing that happened. All right. And then after that, the next thing was the update. This update update felt like it was when Kenny S, when they made the op change. Valve, for the first time in history, were not balancing based on what happens in matchmaking. Oh, 56% of people use the M4A4 and 44% use the M4A1S. Maybe we'll just buff the A1S a little bit to balance out the usage numbers, right? It never felt like Valve have ever balanced based on pro play or like 1 or 2 players or something like that. But it did feel like that for that one time at Kenny S, way back in the day when he was Clan Mystic, with the magic stick, killing people because he had perfect movement acceleration and was able to counter strafe beautifully and never missed a shot. And so he was breaking the game, literally. And it felt like the movement change did come to nerf him. And the same thing happened here. Halfway through the event, Valve dropped an update that said, we're nerfing Peeker's advantage. And if you want to get specific now, but the way Donk plays, look at the way that he swings. Nobody swings like Donk does. This, for me, is the same way that Yakinder taught everybody how to play CS online in 2020, where he was also wide swinging in CSGO. He was not jiggling that much. He was doing timing swings that were very deliberate. Right now, if you see Donk, he is going for the widest swings I have ever seen. It's taking full advantage of CS2 and the Peeker's advantage problems that are in the game, but it's Yakinder on steroids from 2020. His swings are even wider. If you see moments where Donk is looking for between 2 targets and doesn't know which one to peek first, you see he swings out 4 or 5 steps, then swings 4 or 5 steps in the other direction. That has never been regarded as a good way to peek, that you should never swing that many steps out. You should take your wide swing, that's 1 or 2 steps, and that's your wide swing. Bro is swinging like, bro is just, I don't even have anything to say about it. Coming back and forth on every single angle like a pendulum. Also, his pre-aims are perfect. He can pre-swing offers. If you're watching a frag movie of people getting peeked by Donk, a reverse frag movie, and you're going to see that they have no time to shoot back. They have no way to counterplay. There's literally no chance for an opera to hold a perfectly good angle and shoot back versus Donk because his first bullet accuracy is perfect. The pre-swings are perfect. He has maximum confidence, and he had CS2, Peeker's advantage on his side. Now, the update came, and the craziest part is that ESL updated in the middle of the event. This is nuts because for a couple hours in the middle of this night, the game was broken. Like, you couldn't even play. And so Valve had to update the game again, but it's like, listen, Valve updating the game whenever they want is fine. It's up to the tournaments whether they want to use it or not. So there was a massive risk to take this update and use it and just hope that it worked out really well. Now, the crazy part again is that there has to be some level of perception from Donk that he's riding a huge amount of momentum. He understands exactly how this game works. When this update changes, it feels like a deliberate attack to try to take him down a notch, and mentally for him and for his opponents who now feel like they might have a better advantage to fight him, they're less scared and that he might be more worried about trying to do the same wide swings. But no, it doesn't matter. He survives it perfectly. His mind is made of concrete, okay? Now, it might be the case that that nerf didn't do that much to the game, but trust me when I say that the fact that his confidence didn't change at all is unbelievable. So Donk really survives it all to put on what might be the most unbelievable performance that we've seen for an individual in esports as a debut. And the other thing that we saw, a glimpse of somebody finally countering Donk a little bit, okay? So what we have with Donk, if we want to analyze it, boil him down to certain characteristics, is imagine if Forrest was a little bit more aggressive, all right? So we have somebody who has sort of like a perfect spray at almost any range, really good first bullet accuracy, very calm in extremely explosive situations, but actually a lot faster and a lot more aggressive. What makes him who he is the unbelievable pre-aims and also the entry pathing and how accelerated it is because of how fast he's getting kills. Now, those two things are contingent upon each other. He was getting out there so quickly that the second and third guy had no way of knowing how far out he was already. The confidence, this is how you see score lines like this, basically, right? We saw for the first time someone finally start to counter this. Look at how Brokey is holding this line on default, waiting for Donk to swing out on this entry path clearing around bricks to under balk to default, and see how fast that he's doing this. Now, you might normally see an opper holding a ramp or throwing some sort of retake utility or trying to get set up for another frag, but instead you see that he's immediately holding for the default cross because of how fast Donk is. So of course, if you could reduce Donk to a single thing, if you want to try to figure out what makes him who he is in his playstyle, I want to ask you, what would it be? But also keep in mind that if you're having trouble bringing it down to one thing, thing. The fact is, you cannot put up numbers like this if you're only good at one thing. Donk has immediately shown us already that he's elite in many qualities. The fact that he's doing it with a rifle, first of all, it's just a beautiful thing, right? Like, we have not had a rifler like Nico since Nico. The closest thing was Axal, who is clearly shown that he is not Nico, to say the least. And Donk also hasn't played that much, but what he's done already has just been so unreal. It's kind of hard to imagine that there's anything that can really take him down a notch, that he'll just suddenly fall off or disappear. Oh yeah, one more thing. When I was at BetBoom casting Donk, you know, I was saying hi to Donk every morning. I was like, yo, Donk! And he was like, hi! And he was just this cutest kid who was like walking around, owning everybody in CS, taking a photo of Blame F. This photo is iconic. And he said that he played CS for 14 to 16 hours every single day. He's got 8 hours to sleep. He's playing Face It the other 16 hours. Most sane Face It user, Donk. It must be like walking. Donk, I mean, aiming must mean like, why would you miss? How could you miss? And I asked the guys at Spirit, and they said that when he joined Team Spirit, they made him play less. They made him play only 12 hours a day, because probably they're worried about him getting RSI. They're worried about his life balance. They're worried about him just having like some kind of like, you know, normal life outside of gaming to just stay. But he's 17, but he's wired different, right? He's got unlimited stamina. All he thinks about is playing video games. He just wants to be the best and just wants to play and have fun and win. And all these things just make this kid so scary right now. So it's freaking awesome. I'm going to end on this note, okay? It's just awesome to have a story like this. Whatever happens now with Donk, he set this record already. Like, this is it. He's had the best debut of all time, one of the best, if not the best performance of all time at a big event. It's done. Like, I just wanted him to have that perfect end to the final so we can say it happened and we all got to watch it live. It's just a privilege, it feels like, to be able to witness people do great things like that, okay? Someone has shown us a new ceiling to the game, a new what is possible, and that in and of itself is a gift. And the players like Donk, and the very few that can have that kind of level of consistency and peak, show us the ceiling of the game, is, in my opinion, the greatest gift for the spectators, fans, and enthusiasts out there who are watching. So I was thrilled to see him stick the landing in the grand final, have such an amazing run, and give us that moment. And no matter what happens at this point, I'm very excited to see, and I'm not here to doubt Donk. I know that he's going to continue to play well. That's Donk, baby. That's Donk. Had to make a video glazing Donk. Bring back the commentary videos. You want more of these? Let me know. If you've got topic ideas, hit me up in the comments. I'm gonna start doing more of these sort of history commentary videos and get back to that, because I thought that was a really cool part of last year. And remember, you always have enough money for a deagle.